Justin Jefferson in fantasy, in Dynasty specifically, is it over for him until he hopefully leaves the Vikings?
I think definitely not, actually. I think the Justin Jefferson sky is falling thing is way too premature. I think that Justin Jefferson is just fine. Yeah, the rest of this year, pack it up. You probably just want to leave on your bench the rest of the year, to be honest. But for the future, I have no problem with Justin Jefferson. They're guaranteed not going to use any of these bozos they got in their team next year. If they try to run McCarthy out there again next year, then this whole thing changes. You can just cut the tape now if they decide to bring McCarthy back. But they're not going to because they're too smart. O'Connell is way too smart for that. And they're going to bring a Mac Jones or maybe even a Tua type. I don't know who it'll be. But they're going to bring in a veteran who's serviceable enough. And that veteran will do what Sam Darnold did and be really good at getting the ball to Jefferson. O'Connell's really good at scheming guys open. He's got a good system. There were guys that were open in that last game, but just so happens that freaking Brosner is worse than JJ somehow, which I didn't believe was possible, but he is. There were some guys who were open. He remarkably bad. That game was almost fun to watch because it was so entertaining. Because it was mind blowing. It's like, wow, what? Every time they go on an offense, like, what's going to happen this time? Like, you don't know what it's going to be.
It was as if those guys on their couches are like, I can go in and do better. It was like one of those guys going in and trying to do better. That's how hard it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got no problem with Jefferson. Jefferson has so much right around him. It just so happens that they trotted out two guys who are probably the 45th and 200th best QBs in the world. So, what are you going to do? Jefferson looked okay with Wentz. He looked kind of fine with Wentz. So I think that we've seen the absolute worst possible thing and we all want to panic. But don't panic yet. If you can get Justin Jefferson in a Dynasty League this offseason, I'd say go for it. This is the cheapest he'll ever be. He's on the back end of the career, but it's not like he's, over 30, guys. Like, he's still got plenty of time. I'm not worried about Jefferson at all. Not one iota for next year future.
Yeah, for rest of season, you're probably not looking good, especially if you used a first-round pick, in redraft on him. It's probably not, but you probably know you're out of playoffs by now at that point. Yeah, I think this offseason they're going to have a vendetta. It's either stick with McCarthy and trade assets and rebuild, which I don't think they intend on doing. I think there's a less than 20% chance that happens. And I think the much more likely scenario is they bring in a quarterback who can run the system until they, I don't know, eventually. They might run into the same Steelers trap, which we don't want them to do. But I think they're going to... I feel like Mac Jones is going to be a guy who a lot of teams are going to want. Mm-hmm. A lot of teams are going to be trying to put their hands in that sweepstakes and whoever the highest bidder is. But I think Mac Jones is a smart guy. He knows he can't elevate every team. So I do think that's the more plausible is the Vikings go and get a guy like him or a guy like Tua or something.
I think it could be time for a team to do a Zach Wilson experiment finally. Honestly, Zach Wilson's at least shown the ability to get the ball to the receivers sometimes. So I think there's a lot of options they can do that'll work. Yeah.